Sorry about that. That hunger that we were talked about just hit, but our food isn't close to being done yet, so we have to wait. All right. So we're gonna get into the story right off the bat and introduce ourselves. We didn't know how to do this because we don't want to show our identity. We're not gonna show our body. We're not gonna show our face. We just get our voice because we're we're starting over completely when it comes to at least creating and telling our story. This is the first time where we're doing it straight up. No one should know who we are right now. There's no one out there who should have any clue who we are, and that's the point. So hopefully it stays that way. If this story gets out there bigger, and the people who partook in the story, you know, um, happen to find us, and things are said, and that's okay. But we're not going to do this in a distasteful way or anything like that. Don't want people thinking that too. We're just trying to tell our story, our life story, what you see on the screen right now, what we're about to talk about, what we're going to get into. This is going to be as honest as it can be. It's going to get personal, and hopefully people understand that we're trying to protect people's identities when we're doing this. We're trying to protect our own identity while doing this, honestly. Uh, and we're just trying. Well, we you see. There's a lot to get into before we just start, right? We kind of do this yearly now because it's also a good refresher for our mind and how to not lose ourselves in this disorder. And we just now found out about the borderline. Okay, so we're trying to get a therapist soon, but we need insurance. So, um, we, yeah. But our own self therapy has been recalling how we got to where we are in life and all of that. Um, so, yeah, this is kind of our memoir because we used to write novels. They were fictional novels, and we don't want to do that anymore because there's so much truth in the world. But we realized we can't really help the world or do anything like that until we figure out who we are and get help so that we can actually progress in life. Because for the last um, 5 years, it seems to be that we have made no progression at all, and we cannot figure out why. Until we finally listen to a lecture about uh, D D.I.D. Something we haven't done, not by a actual professor, doctor who studies this. We've tried so many things and it just never seemed to work. So we just kind of gave up, right? We have seen help before and just wrong diagnosis, all of that, push meds, no, no, no. So we are here. Um, this is just a memoir, and yeah, so we're gonna get into it. Bear with us. Okay. Now, um, since it's going to be kind of like a memoir, and we don't know exactly how to do that properly, we thought instead of writing one, instead of trying to write a memoir and then doing the audio for it earlier, later and stuff, just do it like this. We're just going to do it as if it's a live stream. We're telling the story live, but also between the two authors who are going to be best at telling the story. Uh, that's going to be Switch and Abby. Okay. So Switch and Abby are going to be telling the story because well, okay. So I Switch. If you can't tell by the voice tone, that's okay. But I Switch have been in this system for a long time, and we're getting ahead and we're skipping a little things that you're going to see later in this as we go through. But just so that way you understand the narrator and the person telling you what's happening in their life, and you can feel some kind of connection. I Switch have been in this system since the body was age 12. Um, the body is now 28 years old. So I have been in here for a long time. I have seen pretty much all of the life that the life has lived, except for the years before 12. Abby has been here for the last decade or so, um, and has the most advanced, fresh mind in the last decade to still be here, and has been able to live a life of her own, and that's where she gets to tell parts of the story where I was not around. So the two of us are going to be telling the story. Sometimes it might sound like as if we're giving therapy to each other. It might sound like we are doing case files for someone. It may sound like we are talking about our own selves, as if we are old detectives looking at a case, right? And that's just because that's the only way we can treat ourselves at this point. And so that's where we're going to go in this. So, that is how the streams are going to be. For those who are probably going to ask, why are we doing it live? We're doing it live because live is the easiest way to keep it all a record and not have to worry about the recordings going down or anything like that. And just in case people do come in and have questions, we don't mind asking, because this memoir is not just a memoir about our lives. I mean, it is in the sense of why we're doing this. But if you think about the big picture of everything, it is about how every single life on the planet affects life. And this is just how we have become what we are. Uh, and we do things the way we want to do. So, this is the honest truth on how we became borderline with dissociative identity disorder and survived 2 decades. A memoir about pain and survival. So, who we are today. Who we are today is this. You have Jason. Jason was the first alter to greet OS. Now, OS for us is going to be the original soul, as in the person born into the body. So, Jason was the first alter to greet the OS at age 12. Jason now is in early 20s, but when they first came, Jason was 8. Uh, Jason may speak, I don't know. He doesn't really do that, so don't really count on it. Then you have me, Switch. I was the first alter to make life decisions at age 12. I don't really have an age now. I mean, you can age me at 28 with the body if it makes it easier for you, but I don't have a real age. I don't feel like I have an age because it's been so long. Alright, and then you have Abby, as I did mention before. Abby came to the system in the year 2019 when the body was age 20, and she's 25 now. Because she pretty much ages now when, for the years that she's been here. So she got here at 20, and like I said, she's almost been here for a decade. We're about to hit, 30 in 2 years. Or 2 birthdays at least. Well, a birthday and a half. Oh, jeez. And then you have Alaska, and Alaska came to the system. We don't really know when, probably between middle school, high school, and also someone who is ageless now, and you will not hear from Alaska at all. So this is who runs the system right now. Well, we are basically like the four horsemen at this point of the system and of our lives, and that's just that. So where it all starts now, where it all starts is like this. The original soul was born in Ohio. Uh, that is just sad, you know. We were born in Ohio. Not gonna really say the year. I mean, you can do the math. You can do the math. We were born in Ohio, and OS just was born. Um, our mother was an extrovert, still is, you know, but mom was always someone who was one to not be afraid to make friends and be outgoing and just live life with excitement. Our father, however, was an introvert. Um, Father is a pretty chilled person, pretty private person. Still don't really know much about him ourselves. Hoping to change that one day. But our father was an introvert, and somehow the two of them got together. They both come from their own personal traumas, and they have their own recovery systems for their traumas. Let's just say, as people of color born in America, you're going to come with traumas regardless. And born, well, as anyone born as a woman uh, at birth is going to have trauma. We all know this as a world. Um, I don't know if we can name a single woman who is not without trauma, unless they are super pampered and like from day one have never interacted with anyone real. Then yeah, sure. But even then, that's a trauma. So, uh, you know, not surprised that our mother had trauma and had to heal from her traumas. Don't you know don't hold anything against them for having their traumas. We know now some of our father's traumas just even due to the fact that we have done some deep diving and have uh, found some things out on our own. And it's just some small hints and clues left to us by our what our parents have said. But not now getting the picture of our father's trauma, we can see why he's an introvert. Um, our parents did not stay together long. They never got married. So technically, OS was born as a bastard. Um, so you could say, if you're religious, that might be why we are cursed. That might be why we are borderline. That might be why we have dissociative. Don't know. But they never got married, and they did not stay together long. Some on and off ships here and there, but you know. And then, since they are no longer together in life, our mother becomes the primary caregiver. And we all know, well, maybe not we all know, but sensible people know how hard it is to be a single mother and parent, but most probably mother, just due to the fact of um, men wanting to be predators and take advantage of that. And yeah, so I do not blame any single mothers out there for their hardships. So that's where it all starts. That's how we got life. Uh, so life before the monster. Uh, our We don't really know. We can only guess. But we hope that our original soul lived with um, peace. We hope that there wasn't a lot of trauma. But from some stories that we have heard, there was already traumatic experiences had. So we can only really tell from photos and stories told by family what life for the original soul was like before age 7, because most memories around the age of 6 and before are just media and blurs of life. So hard to say really what life was had for the original soul before the monster came. Uh, did we think it was peaceful? Probably not. Sadly, this body has probably never known peace, truly, the moment that it came out. Alright, so, life with the monster. Now, this is what we mean by predators and things like that. So, our mother eventually meets a jailbird, and this jailbird literally wants to be known as Boogie, aka the Boogeyman. And that's probably well before red flag was a term, but that would have been a red flag. But you know, don't know the mindset of what our mother was in. Don't know where she was mentally, and so we cannot judge. We cannot hold anything against. But the boogeyman basically comes into our life, and um, just as the case for most evil-like humans, once their marriage was complete, is when the boogeyman shows his true nature. And this is where the original soul is exposed to seeing physical abuse and very close encounters with death. Now, by this, what we mean is that our original soul was then not ever physically harmed by this man, but saw harm done to our mother by this man and to a lot of other, well, a handful of other creatures. Uh, it's what we'll say. And the boogeyman was a big, big guy. This guy used to play football. He definitely probably played college football. Uh, terrible, terrible strength, and he had rage issues. And again, not trying to give away too much, but he also came from his own traumas and had done some things in his life that you just do not come back from. So he was also cursed with his own demons, and his demons then spread into the original soul's life. And yes, and there were some moments where our life, the original soul's life, was in danger and was close to death just by being around the boogeyman. Now, while all this is happening, the original soul uh, never mentions this to any family or any friends. Uh, Never gets a chance to actually express or um, get that terribleness out. Never gets to actually get help, or at least vent, or at least recognize that what's happening is wrong with other people. Life with the Monster Part 2. Abuse with the Monster continues from age 6 to 8, we think. It's hard to tell as we're getting older, the memories are getting farther. Uh, so, um, we believe it happens for 2 years. If not, it definitely probably happened for 2 years. It makes sense. So, we'll say 2 years were going through this. The original soul has no safe place, as there is also violence happening at our father's home as well. Not to the same amount of degree, but still seeing things that no child should see, and going through things no child should go through. Um, and this is where it becomes kind of a sad part too, because if you bring some of these moments up with our parents, they deny. So even they have a hard time coping with the traumas and the acceptance of their child going through that, I would say. So, um, yes, uh, there is no safe place to go for the original soul. There is no way to cope, no safe place, really, besides going on the road with our father, because he was a trucker, still is a trucker, has been trucking our entire life. But going on the road with him was the only escape from trauma, because that's that's the only place the boogeyman can't be, and no one who brought the trauma to her around father could be as well. So the road becomes the original soul's only place of survival and feeling happy. First alter forms evil. Uh, this could be this could also be the first sign of borderline shift, and having a dark alter form from lack of feeling safe and in control. Um, and we just, like we said, we're just not realizing that we have borderline because we couldn't figure out what else was wrong with us, and so uh, evil comes around the age of 7 through 8, and uh, starts off as a best friend, imaginary best friend, but then eventually becomes, okay, this is evil doing that, but how does an 8-year-old really understand what's happening? Escaping. So one final night of abuse happens with the boogeyman. Um, it's the last straw, the last attack, and the last traumatic thing we see him do to our mother. Uh, our mother finally leaves and finds a way out of the marriage. It says enough is enough, and saves both our lives. The original soul never sees the boogeyman again, but the image of his face stays forever. And this will come into fruition later. This will be brought up again. But yes, the image of this man will probably never leave us. And the turmoil he's done to our life as well. But the new house is still not far enough to be safe. The original soul still never feels safe in this city and in this place, knowing that the boogeyman is around. Um, so the original soul becomes more violent as a child, becomes a little bit more aggressive and does acts towards animals and so on. Your typical sociopathic lack of empathy type things that you see in a child who is exposed to trauma and what so on. And uh, you know, being neglected also comes into play later in life, when the mother seeks ways to heal from her own trauma, which is fair, because a lot had happened in those years. One moment as we go make some tea. Okay, tea is being made, so we're gonna get that soon. Let's continue. Moving to a new land. So, our mother gets a new job and gets the chance to leave the land of trauma. So we are now being moved to a new school in city where the original soul is. And the original soul happens to be the only person in their classes in this move. This move happens in the middle of fourth grade, so uh, don't really know how old. Don't know how old someone is in the fourth grade right now. Can't think of the top of her head, but that is what happens after all that trauma. And then in the middle of the school year, now I'm moving to a place like this. The original soul can't fit in being self. By this we mean the original soul was more vulgar and advanced than the shelter kids were. So the original soul begins to adapt to being white and sees self as no longer a black kid from the ghetto. And by that, it's just the dissociation of, oh wow, okay, I can't talk about all the bad stuff that is in my head and all the bad stuff that I saw in my head as a child, and can't also be bad myself as a child now, even though that's what I'm completely used to. I guess I gotta become what these people are, and what these people are shelter white kids and preppy, and have not seen anything like we have ever seen. So, by the end of fifth grade, sorry, by the end of the fifth grade, uh, the original soul is fully colonized, and yeah, by that we mean the original soul no longer sees themselves as being a person of color at all. Um, so the mind has been colonized, and the soul is colonized as well. In the sixth grade comes around. The original soul is late to showing up to school due to a hurricane and being on the road with their father. So, when the original soul comes to school almost half a month late, people begin to treat the original soul as a new student. And instead of, an old friend or anything like that, because most of the students were from different elementary schools around. So they kind of just take a bunch of kids from an elementary schools all over and then just throw them all in the same uh, sixth grade school. You know, it's just one giant school for nothing but sixth graders. So um, didn't really know anybody, and no one really knew the original soul. So people really believe that this was just a completely new kid. So now that's the times two. Well, the wow, dissociation. Who are we? We believe this played a role, like we said right here, into more dissociation of not knowing or feeling known now. Still no alters. A sight of our future best friend has had a small glimpse in the hallway, and then the original soul steals the camera from another friend and begins making YouTube videos. Me, myself, in middle school. Now, this is a lot, so we're going to wait for the tea. So, if you want to just read ahead, that's fine, but we'll be back to narrate later after the tea is made. And I guess while we do this part, we'll give you guys some tunes. Alright, sorry, I had to let that one play, guys. We love that song. It connects. Later in the story, you'll see why. Uh, now, we did play this album on purpose. So, yes. But let's continue. Okay, we got the tea here. Feeling better, more energetic. We got the food in us. You can tell the difference. We are back. Here we go. Told you we're going to take this case on in many forms. You're going to see why we are truly dissociative and borderline, and why we are probably the best case of seeing what the disorder truly is like, and what it's like to be in someone's shoes who have dissociative identity disorder and borderline personality disorder, or borderline dissociative disorder. Any sense of that? We ate something we're allergic to. We don't know what it was. God dang it. Probably the cheese. Okay. Okay. Me, myself in middle school. Middle school begins. The original soul has a hard time adjusting socially. Height and race play factors into new bullying. Yes. So now we are with older kids. People are older, more mature. The internet is around, getting better. And yes, being racist is kind of a normal thing with some of these people because there are way more white people than there are people of color in this area. So as a person of color, you kind of just have to go along with it. I mean, we saw even people on the football team, people just kind of in sports who are popular and whatnot still get, called bully names or bully terms that were in the racial division. So, still seeing those people get bullied and whatnot just for being a different race affected us. Uh, Dating was virtually impossible besides a few chances. Now, as someone who took part in some of these dating chances, I switch. I sabotaged a few relationships and was not the best at handling relationships. I do admit this now. So I do apologize to the hearts and lives we affected in such a way when we did not know what we were as we were forming. Um, so, yes. Um, our best friend is now made. For this, we're going to call him Aries. Um, and we become best friends with Aries, and the original soul and Aries become friends only because, and this is something that Aries admits to us later in life, that um, the original soul was only sought out because of the YouTube videos and the camera being had. So that is why we became friends with Aries, not knowing it was only because we were going to flatter his ego in a way. One day in class, the original soul is greeted in this order by the alters. Jason, age 8, Switch, age 12, and Jacob at 13. We all came with a backstory. Uh, the three of us believe we were ghosts with previous lives. Jason's backstory in previous life was the fact that he was uh, living in the woods, probably Canada, if we were going to say, with a family, his mom and dad. And one day, his dad, after hunting, forgot to really lock the door, and wolves came in and ate him and his family, killed him, because they smelled the blood and all that from the hunt and came and got him. That was what he believed he had come from. I switched. I thought my backstory when I thought I was a ghost was that I was with uh, my girlfriend at a park and people were bullying me, and I usually have a smart mouth, and I was talking back. I mean, it got violent to a degree, and uh, I was stabbed to death. Not multiple times. I just got stabbed, and the other kid panicked and left, and that's how I died. And then Jacob, being 13, Jacob was actually my stepbrother. In our backstories, he was my stepbrother, and he found out about me being stabbed, and went to go get revenge, and then got himself killed as well. And he followed me to this body. The original soul grows tired of being bullied and tired of heartache, being rejected, and all that, and tells Switch to take over, and the original soul then leaves, and we do not see the original soul uh, for years after this. Um, Switch, me, the one telling the story right now, I become the main persona going forward, and is more confident, and I'm more successful at social settings. I was popular with the jocks, I was popular with the goths, and I was popular with the nerds. I basically could go into any group and fit in, right? That's what I was good at. So I really had no problem taking over and being the main person doing things. And eventually, me and Aries, uh, our friendship becomes a rivalry because people who like me also like him because we become kind of the same person in a sense. So there are moments where I date somebody, they break up with me, and then they actually start dating Aries because Aries is everything I am, but he's white and tall. Things like that start to happen. And Aries does know about the altars. He knows about me. He knows about Jason. He knows about Jacob. And he knows everything about our system because we just tell him everything. And he's just like, oh, yeah, this is all cool. Because he's also just another 12-year-old who, in this retrospect, he was the first person that we had met unknowingly yet. But he really kind of knew uh, what it was like to not be rich. He was kind of like the first. We'll say it like this. So there are cases where you come across white people, white Americans who have the Marshall Mathers effect, right? And by that we mean there are we'll say white men or white people in general, who, because we don't really know how to say it for a white woman, but I'll just see meaning, because that has its own base. We'll talk about that later, other times, but. Um, Marshall Mathers effects, you have these people who know what it's kind of like to be around people of color and what it's like to be treated as a person of color because you're not actually what other white people want you to be. So they just see you as people of color, which is the only way they know how to disrespect you, right? So he was that. So we felt safe with him. He was able to like be around our family. He never was too weird about it or anything like that. We had friends come, with meet our family and stuff, and it's just awkward. They're kind of not there. They're kind of racist. So he was the first person to not be that way. Our tongue is going numb because we ate something, so that's cool. So we got to figure out what we ate. Yeah, we're allergic to. Now, great. Hopefully it's not sunflower. No, because we have the sunflower in that. Okay, so we'll figure that out later. But back to the story. But if we talk weird or sound weird, it's because our tongue is swollen, and we don't have anything to stop that right now. Eighth grade then comes, same school building, but it's just New Year. Uh, this is where things in our mind gets a little bit more challenging, probably because of puberty and everything else we talked about, being rejected, the rivalry with Aries, and so on. So one of our classes, the man in the suit arrives. This man in the suit brings more altars and disruption to the system. Now, we can say probably what had a key factor into this type of stuff, right? What people probably skip out on is this is where media, this is where fiction affects dissociative disorders, okay? So, no, we did not get our dissociative disorder because of media. No, it was not fiction that created us. No, we got it from trauma, and then fiction just shaped it, okay? So we were reading a lot of Percy Jackson in the seventh and eighth grade. So we really believed we were demigods. Uh, there were times where I believed I was a vampire. Like we were really big into mythology, vampires, all that stuff. We were going the goth route very fast. Uh, we know it's a meme. You're 12 and your emo phase. We were like, because of the association, I switch was made literally pure off of the emo energy phase, okay? So a lot of things were probably shaping this. The man in the suit, fictional wise, was the boogeyman returning. This man, it's scary, and that brought disruption to us. So yeah, um, there came a time where I started to face depression and started blacking out and everything, and I didn't like that. I didn't like being sad. I didn't like what that felt like, and I literally remember being like, I'm going to make someone else take all of this. It won't be me. And then next thing you know, I created my first subalter, Jake. Jake, same age as I, 12, when this happens, because he literally is me. He's just sad. That's the only way I can do that. Can say that. So that was the middle school experience. I mean, we'll probably go more into detail about our lives. When people ask questions, um, and stuff like that. So we're kind of just speed running right now because we are currently we're parents, so we have a kid and everything like that. But right now, going through custody things and right now we just have the time where we can tell the story, but we won't have that time forever. So we're not trying to speed run in a way where it's like disrespectful, but we also are trying to get through where there's so much we can't unpack that trust. We will be going through everything more than once. All right, so hi, and goodbye. So middle school is over. Um, Grades aren't really important. Now, we can go back to sixth grade. We tried to flunk sixth grade on purpose to get attention from our mother. It didn't work. Did not work at all because there were situations. Our mother was in a motorcycle club. Okay, she had become vice president of a motorcycle club, an all women's club, right? And so she was busy with that. She was busy doing the motorcycle thing, living her life out there with all her friends, going, wherever they went. She doing her life because our mother had she served in the Navy and everything like that. I don't want to give away too much, but that's what our mom is like. Like we said, extrovert. She wanted her life. So after her trauma of all that abuse from the boogeyman, it was to escape and join this motorcycle club and full fledged do all of that. Like we talk about this now, but like it's kind of crazy thinking. It's like her way to survive and to heal was to literally be on speed bikes going like 100 miles per hour while I'm just sitting somewhere like hope mom comes back. So like that's something we talk about with our mom and stuff, and I just like I kind of regret it, but I understand she had to heal in her way, and that's how she did. So uh, sixth grade we tried to fail. We didn't really care about grades, and that's gonna lead into all of our lives. So high school begins. Freshman year, our freshman year opens the system to more freedoms and opportunities with older kids. Switch is basically a dictator and controls all choices made by body. This is true. I was a dictator. I did become a dictator. I Look. There was a lot of pressure. Okay, freshman year, we're still tiny. We're still small. We're not the most attractive. Everyone thinks we're little brother cute. It's a thing like that. And we're still a person of color in a mainly white area, so things were hard. Now, we, how do how am I supposed to live a life socially when all these people are in my head, right? And keep that without looking too crazy and not too weird, not scaring people away. So yes, I was a dictator and I made dictator decisions. Holy crap! Whatever we ate has us zoning out. It feels like we just had edibles. Um, are we okay? I don't really feel too good. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. Uh, oh no, did it type? Oh, crap. Okay. We sorry messed some stuff up. One sec. Fix that. Fix that. Okay. Sorry, we dropped. Whew. All right. All right. Okay. Okay. We're back. Sorry. We dropped the mic and hit some keys and all that stuff. Had an allergy attack right there, so we took a little Benadryl. Hopefully that helps. But anyway, uh, Okay. Ah. So here we are in high school, freshman year. I'm a dictator. Yes. Aries is the only one who knows about the system and all that's happening in the world. So we still really only have one source of expressing who we are, just someone, and being like, hey, we are not just one person, we are a lot of people. Uh, and Aries was the only person to be like, yeah, I got that. Check. Uh, so Switch has a new relationship thanks to Aries. So he introduced me to somebody, actually kind of on accident. We just kind of talked a little bit, texting here and forth. Uh, it is long distance compared to what a high school relationship will count as long distance. Two cities, can't drive, and majority of the relationship takes place over text and calls. We were like 2 years, 3 years older than our partner, so they were not in high school yet. Don't know if this is weird or not to be like 13, 14 dating someone who's 2 years younger. I don't know. Okay, if people are like, yeah, that's weird, then okay, I guess then we were weird, but I don't know, we were 14. And they were about to turn 13, so I don't know. Don't know anymore. We were still minors, so I guess it doesn't matter. Uh, anyway, that relationship was special. It went on for a while. And then there was a night where we were exchanging secrets, and uh, our secrets were so stupid. We sold a stupid secret because, again, we're dissociative and uh, not the not the not the most social adept in the sense of what's real and what's fake, right? Um, so we tell our secret, and it was dumb, and then uh, they tell their secret, and it was something that was truthful but hurt, and remember, kind of just blacking out, and it brought up past traumas from the boogeyman. And this now starts the rise of our meltdowns and blackouts becoming a more normal thing. Um, so uh, then it got pushed to whenever we were going on dates with this partner and Aries and their partner double dates and stuff like that. Um, Aries was intimate with their partner all the time, like kissing and stuff. There was a time where Aries literally tapped on someone's shoulder while they were kissing and making out, as in to initiate me to kiss my partner, and that was crazy. That was crazy. But still did not go great because still got rejected, even just a like hug. And yeah, so that caused more anger and resentment coming into the system, and more just bad. The relationship ends because both sides' graves began to drop, and it seemed like nothing was actually getting better, and something just felt wrong. Um, and so, break up for a while, and then during the breakup, uh, Aries. Oh wait, no, switches. Okay, woo. This is a lot. This is why we're glad we had to slow down and not tell names. Um, so, the best friend of my ex at the time says that my ex had cheated on me pretty much the entire relationship, and was already dating some other guy, and like that's why she never kissed me or anything like that, because she was actually dating a boy from her school and stuff like that. Don't know if this was ever true. Don't know. It didn't matter because it brought evil back. And there was a moment where our ex tried to reach out and get back together and be like, I love you. And evil was the one running the body. And it was like, nah, screw you. You're a liar. Blah, 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 blah. And yeah, never got back together. And this is where the Legion began. Second year of high school. So I become more devilish in how I view myself. I switch, yes. So our mother was now trying to get away from the biker life and go to the opposite, the preacher life, and going to church more and getting closer to God. Um, and would have us read the Bible and try to read the Bible at certain times and for like an hour or so like that. But for some reason, don't know why, but reading the Bible, due to our mother's influence, seemed to give us more insight into seeing Lucifer's viewpoint and what the truth of the Bible really is. What do we mean by that? Now, that is a big one to crack open. So I know some people are probably going to have problems with that when we get to this point, right? We are agnostic, I guess. We don't know what to believe, guys. We don't know. We just know what we exist as. Okay? So, what we mean by Lucifer's viewpoint is this. If you take the entire Bible from the beginning to end, it's about good and evil, supposedly. But not good and evil at the sense of good and evil exist. Um, Good and evil in the sense of conscious beings with power and the choices they make with that power. For example, for every king almost that God had chosen that was not Jesus Christ, uh, they chose to then become evil with the power given to them, even though they were chosen by God. Right? Lucifer hated humans, supposedly, from the moment that he figured out that that was about to be a thing. But he was punished because of his hate for them, and it being so much hate, he causes a rebellion, and then he storms the heavens, right? What you have here is not a battle of good and evil. What you have here is the conscious decision of a creator, even Lucifer's creator. Or in some terms, he's not, or Satan is a completely different thing, whatever. However you want to say it. You have the creator who believe that they are choosing good humans and they are choosing good good angels even, or and they're choosing good things, right? Because they created them and they are hoping to give them free will and hoping that, they can do good. And then you have something else that has a completely different viewpoint, not a creator, but eventually a destroyer, only because they see that no, the humans are doing evil. That humans are making evil decisions. That humans know that they have this power that to be great and to be good, and yet they're using to be bad. So they gotta go, right? And you have the creator and the destroyer in this middle battle because both of them are correct, but neither of them can afford to be wrong. And that's what we mean. When we read the entire Bible, and the reason we have this viewpoint now is because we later in life, we'll get to later, become MITs, ministers in training. We start actually studying and focusing on the Bible as adults. We go down this, and it still comes down to this viewpoint on us. So, I agree with more so with the Lucifer end of if you're going to create and see that they're just going to do so much destruction, then why not just stop it now? And I know that's messed up, but hey, things in the world right now kind of seems like maybe, right? Because look at what humans are doing. Literally the exact same thing. But this isn't to get political or anything like that. This is about us. We'll get to that stuff later. Okay? So, our system begins to fracture. Jake and Jacob are often at odds with me, Switch, but I was mentally the strongest because I was basically in the hey, you run things now talk by the original soul. And whenever the original soul does that, because the original soul will do that to multiple alters later in life, whenever the original soul goes, hey, it's your turn now, you run this, uh, you get basically, you become the most powerful you can be as an alter. Nothing can really dismiss you anymore because you hold the keys to the soul. Uh, so they couldn't really do much against me becoming more dark and becoming more to those dark archetype type characters and mindsets. The man in the suit returns again, and then a scream is heard mentally, and this is where new alters come, but they actually stay. And then so you have Katie, who came in, she was 15, and then you have Sin, came in at age 9. Alaska, again, we don't have, I mean, me and Alaska don't really have ages. And then Hedra was 16 and only spoke Spanish. We didn't know Spanish, and so this is one of those real moments where an altar just forms because hey, uh, that was our sophomore year. So now let's go to the third year. Mary Jane is the name. Third year of high school. Our mother is dating another bad man. The same physical trauma returns to the household, but now the system has already formed. So we are already a D.I.D. system. We are already a system formed to help cope a child's uh, terrible nightmares and life experiences, right? We already exist for that. That's what we were here for. That's what we're doing. And then we come into a time in life where it is now happening to us. We did not see that one coming. So now we are a system being traumatized or seeing trauma and going through the exact same thing that the child that we came to heal went through. It's now happening to us, and that set us in a really bad place and tore us apart. There was a lot of judgment in us because it was like, why don't we stop the? We're older now. We could defend our mother, right? And we could never get violent, I guess, with these men because even when it was happening in the beginning, we do know our original soul thought about ending it with violence that night. The typical hammer to the head thing was literally about to happen, but for some reason our body would not do it. Our body would not just cross that line for some reason, no matter how bad it wanted to. We don't know why, because even now, here we are, 15, 16 years old, it's happening, and why can't we defend our mother? Why won't our body, ah, you know? So, we're going through that. I restrict Katie from using the body due to the fear of being judged by people. Yes, it's true. I'm still in my dictator mode stuff. Katie wanted to use the body very badly, but I knew that people would just didn't think we were gay, and being in high school at that time frame, and being bullied for already being short and already being a person of color, we did not feel like we were ready to be also bullied for coming off as what people would have perceived as gay. Um, we didn't really have many friends in high school. There were a lot of lunches alone, no one there. It's just sitting at a table by ourselves. Like not even the sad pity moment of a movie of like the typical fake. Oh, can we sit with you? You look alone. None of that even happened. I mean, like it was straight up. All we had was ourselves. Um, for a while. So, yeah, to not even get more judgment from the few friends that we did have, I restricted Katie from using the body. Now, some could also say this might be part of the misogyny that we witnessed from all of the men so far in our lives. And that too could be a part of why I didn't want Katie to use the body. But that's not something I knew yet. I didn't know what misogyny was yet. A fight club begins in the inner world. This is where alters begin to fight to the death and get their angers out. So yes, we created. Now you have to know in our inner world we could see anything we wanted, anything. We were creating everything. We used to have a heaven. We used to have hells. We used to have mansions, a forest. We used to have anything you could think of. Most of the time it was fighting arenas. Most of the times it was heaven. And we were, it was sometimes a house, anything, apartment, all of that. That's where we uh, were most of the time in our mind. Uh, think of that every single time we were in class. So every time a teacher was trying to talk about a lecture or a president or math equation, we are zoned out in our head. And this is before uh, we start, as you read on, getting into substance abuse. This is before. We were always in our head. This is something that the original soul came with. It's probably why we have dissociation. Uh, you know how you play pretend as kids, you play pretend, little cap guns or something like that. Well, their OS used to say this was real life. Used to call the pretend world the real life world. So you can see now, haha, why we slipped up, or where the moments of, yeah, you're definitely going to have problems when you grow up, right? So yes, you have a kid who's 8 years old being like, I'm going to call my pretend life the real life already off the bat, okay? So our inner world is the real life to us. We didn't know that we were taking some kids' pretend worlds and living in them and making them real now. So we went through the fight club and we would fight to the death. Basically, that meant just until you would fight into your physical body in the inner world, either could not get up anymore or it felt like you disappeared and you weren't here anymore, fronting. So that's what we were doing during every single class, almost. If we did not enjoy the topic or you did not catch our interest, if we did not like the teacher, if we didn't know anyone in the classroom, we were in the inner world. Yeah, so um, I become friends with other kids as Aries is off busy with his own new friends. So yes, we didn't really see Aries much in this year. We got separated. Kind of believe that a lot of teachers made complaints about our relationship being too close because there were classes in our first 2 years where we would just nonstop talk to each other. Even when we would get moved across the room, we would had a little thing where we would talk across, like we could read each other's mouths, so we would just read each other's lips and still have a full conversation and pick up like nothing ever stopped. So I personally do believe that teachers made so many complaints about this that in the following next 2 years of high school, they did not keep us together at all. We never had a class together again, and then eventually Aries started going to a secondary school type situation too. So we didn't really see him much anymore, at all. So we become older friend. Become sorry, we become friends with older kids in our acting class, and they get us into smoking again, drinking. Now, by smoking, we do mean cannabis. This is where we started smoking cannabis. Remember, the first time we smoked cannabis was actually out of a empty Sprite bottle in the middle of the woods, and it was just little bit, and yeah, went home and passed out. Now, the night before smoking for the first time was the first night of seriously drinking. Now, we had drank a little bit. Now, here's where the substance abuse comes in. We do have memories of the original soul being given like little taste of wine coolers here and there, a little taste of beers from our mother. And so, because our mother also has a drinking, abuse issue, or yeah, we'll just say it like that. No need to sugarcoat it. Especially back then when all the trauma was happening. So I believe her exposing us to drinking that at a young age, again before double digits, before we were 10, you know, uh, then yeah, that. So I remember taking a shot of whiskey once over the first date to go meet the first partner in high school in our freshman year. The first time going to go meet her, we took a shot of whiskey. Just straight up went downstairs, knew where mom kept it, climbed up there, put it in a glass, put it up. We just kept walking around the kitchen, pacing. And then remember Jake being like, "If you do this, there's not going back." And I was just like, "Yeah, I don't care." And I shrugged it, and then we went skating. We went skating a little buzz. So that was 15. You know, no, not 15. We were 14, 14, 15. Because our the placement of our birthday places us where we age in the middle of years. So it's weird sometimes to remember the exact age. But yes, I would say we had our first like drink by ourselves, 14, and then turned 15, meeting the new kids. Uh, and yeah, so the night before smoking cannabis for the first time, it's the first time we have serious drinking. I mean, it was vodka on vodka, and it's just vodka on vodka, and it's just drinking all types of stuff that we have never drank before, and being like, I remember straight up saying, quote, you can quote, uh, oh my god, I feel like a dragon. Like this is burning. My throat burns so much. I feel like a dragon. And then our friend being like, oh, just wait. You think you're a dragon now? Wait till tomorrow. And here's the thing, because it's been so long, right? And we've done so much now, and our memories aren't. as reliable. We can't even remember initially what even made us want to smoke cannabis with these guys to begin with. I don't know if they brought it up first and we were just like, yeah, sure, we thought about it, or if it's because as a child, the original soul saw so much media consumption of cannabis, and when we have seen family members smoke cannabis around us, and we knew what cannabis was, that we were just like, it can't be that bad. Our family does it. It's on TV. We watch a lot of that '70s show. That could have been it as well. So there's a lot of factors into what pushes someone into smoking cannabis. But for us, it was the trifecta. We saw it in real life. We saw it in media, and we knew that it at least made social settings more um, fun or easy or relatable. We knew there was more people who smoked pot because high school. We knew it was more of a thing. So maybe this would help us be cool again. Maybe it was that. So yeah, next day we smoke in the woods, smoke a little bit for the first time. Didn't smoke a lot. But literally remember being on the car ride and being like, oh my god, I feel like I'm gonna die. Oh my god. And then our friend just dropped us off, went upstairs. Thank goodness our mom wasn't home, and we just shut the door, fell asleep, passed out, woke up, ate everything in the house probably, and that's it. The typical first time smoking story. You know how that goes. Mary Jane, though, happens to open. Uh, Mary Jane opens new worlds and peace for our system. Depending on the strain and setting, it was the only means of calming the storm. And by that, yes, so uh, we're more I guess I guess now they said it doesn't really matter, but like hybrid with indicas as the main dominant is what calms us best. It was Blue Dream that was our best, right? And this is not to like trigger warning. Don't if you're hopefully people are smart enough to know if you're someone who deals with substance abuse and stuff like that, then don't listen to this. Skip past and all that. But uh, there are warnings on the stream, and you know there. But I will make sure in the video to put a warning like, hey, this is going to be mentioned. Um, but not to get to talk so much about it in a nice, happy way. But it is just cannabis. But I know for some people that can lead them to a lot of other things. It should start somewhere. And even with us, it's hard to just stop cannabis. We can say it's just cannabis, but even we are still dealing with our own sobriety and trying to cut it off. We still haven't been able to. So it became such a way to free ourselves of so much trauma and stress. It was the only thing that made it where the stress is no longer us on us. It's not like we could breathe, we can stretch, we can do things, we can think, we stuff, right? So that's what Mary Jane did for us, and then it was nice. But then our older friends also happened to get me and other members of the system into, we'll say small crimes. Nothing major, but yeah, enough to entice the system for sure. And by this we mean doing things like camping illegally. There were some moments where we did run from the cops. We had fires on, train lots and stuff like that. I've probably have run from the cops in high school two, 3 times. Okay, not again. Don't do this. This is not good things to do. Bad. But there's not something we ever expected ourselves to do. We never thought we would be running from police officers. We never thought there would be police lights on us and chasing us as we run through woods. We never thought this, but here we were as a system doing that with our older friends. And Aries isn't here. No one knows. And these people didn't really know we were a system. By the way, we tried to explain it a little bit, because in our third year of high school, it started to slip out. Like, okay, you're not sane, right? People's are borderline probably too. Um, didn't help. So, a lot of things were going on. Now, as happy as we sound in this, things were about to go go a little wrong. Um, but so yeah, we did a little bit of crimes here and there, blah blah blah, but nothing major. Uh, One night we all do acid with the older friends, and that's where we find a lot of answers and fears on our first trip. Now, on this first trip, we were doing a lot. It was our first time doing it and stuff like that. We didn't do a whole lot because everybody was worried that we were crazy. Now the friends kind of knew like we were more than one person, right? So they didn't want us to just do a bunch of acid and go crazy and like So they gave us just a little bit. And then so we all went out outside on a walk past curfew at 2 a.m. for some reason to go get slushies from Speedway, and we're going on this walk and we're doing things. I'm thinking I'm hearing music and stuff like that. It's just construction. It's just some dude like on a hammer or something like that. And I'm thinking it's the most nice beat ever. I'm trying to freestyle to this beat. Everyone else was just walking doing their own thing. You know, we're just doing our life. Uh, we get to the slushies. Now, mind you, in this group of older friends, yeah, I don't want to. No one make this a statistic. No one be like, ah, he's all, dude. Okay, so yes, a lot of us were people of color, and there was only really one white passing friend in this group. You know, and even he was not fully a white person, but he was white passing. So we are about four people of color right now, because the other guy went to walk his own way. So we're about four people of color, and we're walking back. And I'm the well, I'm not the only minor, but I'm the youngest minor. I think we weren't even six. I think we had just turned 16. Uh, Jeez, dude. See, this is the verse. Like, wait a minute, third year. Oh my God, we might have just turned 17. Yeah, 17. Never mind. So I think we had just turned 17 because I was staying with one of the friends for the week, and I'm trying to time frame when this was, and it was warm enough to be in a hoodie, but not too cold. I don't think there was any snow, so I think it was right after our 17th birthday. Uh, and so yeah, and so uh, you know, but minor, regardless. Actually, I might have been 16. I might have been 16. Uh, anyway, because it could have been fall. I don't know. Anyway, we are on the way back home, and mind you, I was about to bring the camera to record this whole journey, right? And they were like, "Don't bring the camera outside, blah blah blah. Just keep it here. You can record, but keep it here." So, I'm like, okay, whatever. Thank goodness, because we get stopped by two cop cars, and they are like, "What's going on?" And guys, 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 let's get casual, okay? Sorry for the people who listen to memoirs and are like this, you need it to be a certain way or something like that. No, but guys, because I feel like my 16-year-old self again right now. Switch here. I feel like me. I can remember this night so 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 vividly, probably because of the acid, right? So we're walking back, and we're talking and talking and talking, and we're halfway back to where we need to be safe. Now, when the lights come on, I, you know, everyone in America at least knows there is no mistaking the blue and red lights of a cop car. So, mind you, step into our shoes, 16, maybe 17 years old, you have D.I.D., you are going through trauma. Now, mind you, this is still in the same year of our mother being abused, alright? Or, and stuff like that, and no one knows. No one knows we're going home and seeing this stuff and going through this stuff, right? So, the cops pull us over. Now, mind you, I'm tripping. We smoked Mary Jane as well. And the D.I.D. group is cooking. You have Jason, who is still 8. Jason never actually aged up with us. He stayed an 8-year-old for a very long time, up until the body was 20. So you have an 8-year-old in the body tweaking out on acid. Okay. You have me, Switch the leader, also on acid. And then you had Jake and Katie and them too. So you have everybody doing their own separate trips inside our system, now also afraid. and all the cops. Jason's wanting to run. I remember our leg was twitching, like bouncing so fast. You would think if they had a bounce any harder, we would have we would have dug a hole right into the core of the earth to get away from those cops. Jason wants to run. He keeps saying, "Run, run, 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 run." That's all I hear in my head. Run, 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 run. And then you have Katie screaming, oh my God, we can't go to jail. Oh my God, we can't go to jail like the way that we are so small. Oh my God." Stuff like that is happening, and I'm literally just like, guys, everyone, keep chill, keep cool, keep calm, keep cool, keep calm. They don't know. And of course, the cops are asking how old everyone is. Now, two of the friends were over the age of 18, and two of the minors were under the age of 18. So me and the friend I was staying with. So the cops were like, "All right, who are you? What's going on?" Now I thought I was forming words correctly. Okay, I thought I was at least talking to the cops as a normal person does. They ask a question, I give an answer. How old are you? Oh, I'm 16 or 17 or whatever, however old we were. I'm blah blah blah. Where do you live? Oh, I, I, I think I, okay, so I think I said I'm staying all the way, I live all the way out there, but right now I'm staying with him. But then they were like, no, where do you live? And I was like, I'm staying with him. And they just kept being like, okay, where do you live though? And I didn't really know what else to say. My friend says I kept saying I just live with him. And then eventually the cop was just like, okay, whatever. And so they ask everybody, and since we're minors, they don't really care about us because they were asking the two, adults, why do you have, um, why do you have two minors out past curfew? Because it's late, and uh, they're trying to explain, oh, we just wanted to go get slushies. They wanted slushies and everything. We know it's late, but it's just right down the road. It's just getting slushies, you see. And I'm not gonna lie, the one friend, the oldest friend who was talking back to him, he did kind of come off kind of like an ass. Okay, he kind of came off a little cocky to the cop asking questions. But again, we're freaking blitzed. We are blitzed right now, trying not to get caught, and we just got caught. And mind you, one of our friends is just still out there walking by himself, tripping, and we have no idea where he is, and he has no idea that we've been caught. So I'm trying to like also like be like, oh man, should I text him? Should I not text him? Everything. And I remember like almost crying, and I looked at the friend I was staying with, and I was like, we shouldn't have come out. And he was like, yeah, but we're here now. Just roll with it. And I was like, okay. And let me tell you, this guy is still strongly in our lives. He's out, doing his own thing right now. But like, I think, I think, had we not met him in our life, we would not have been in a good place. I think he has always helped us in a lot, and we always shout him out for it. So that night, he definitely helped us keep our cool. Um, and so they start patting down one of the friends, and we see something in his pocket, and the cop's like, "What's this?" And everyone's heart stopped. You could just feel it in their room. You feel it in the outside actually, because we're outside. You could feel everyone's heart stops, and we're like, "Oh crap, is that the grinder?" Because if they catch him with the grinder, then they got him one, you know, paraphernalia charge plus the minor thing plus everything. We're all busted. We're going down. It's going down tonight. These cops couldn't be hungrier for this because they already had two cars on us. Everyone knows two cars. They expect someone to go to jail. So they got us, and he, our friend was like, "Honestly, officer, I have no idea what that is. I don't know." And, dude, the cop was like, "Okay, all right, well, you don't mind if I, pull it out?" And he's like, "No, go ahead, do what you gotta do." And the cop pulls it out, and from the graces of something, I don't know what it was. I don't know the good luck. Thank you. Uh, blessed be. It was just his phone charger cube. And the cop was like, "Oh, it's your charger." And a friend again, a little sad, was like, "Oh, thank you. See, without you, I wouldn't have found that. I had no idea where it went. I was looking for it earlier. It must have been right there. Thank you." So the cop was like, "Okay, all right." And since I don't really have anything, and I mean, you can see our eyes are probably like and like drugged up. But since like the house was literally right there, cops don't want to do that paperwork. You know, it's not worth it because then they gotta deal with everybody. My mom's out of town, stuff like that. So they let us go as long as we went right back home. So we're going back to the house. The other friend that went off and did his own thing comes across and he's like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" And we're like, "Yo, bro, we just got stopped by the cops. What?" And he's like, "Oh, what?" And he pretty much had his own great solo trip. He was just gaming, dancing. Say he like laid down in the grass and just had a good time. And that whole time, we're over here stopped by the cops. We had harassed and everything. And it was one of those moments because, he's white passing. uh, I think he was like, "Yeah, they went right past me after they let you guys go." And so we just joked about that and everything. And then, yeah, we did some more smoking, of course. And uh, as it's starting to wear off, so it's bedtime. The sun had came up. We all laughed. We survived. We got away with it. Go to sleep in the closet. No. uh, Here's the one thing our friend didn't mess us up on. We had a moment of the acid where we were trying to connect all of our fingers together one by one to be like, this is our soul connecting. And we were about to get to the last finger. And then these freaking dicks clapped our hands, messing the whole sequence up. And it literally, like, it was like when Aang and Avatar, the Airbender, is about to become the Avatar state fully, like, unlocked. And then he's like, no, Kara, and then goes back. Or when he gets hit by the lightning strike and hits his spine and he can't do it anymore. That is what it felt like happened to us that night. And we were really upset about that. And so then we go in to go to bed and we fall asleep in the closet. And but when we're falling asleep and we close our eyes, the dream started off like a camera zooming in on a leaf, right? And it was like, whoa, what is this nature documentary? And they kept zooming in and zooming into the leaf. And then on that leaf was a little black spot, and then went to the little black spot, and then it zoomed in. And I was like, oh, I don't think I like this, because when it zoomed in, it was a spider. And now we have extreme arachnophobia. I remember a dream when we were a child that like a giant black widow the size of like a transformer picked us up and ate us all out of our grandmother's backyard. So we have a huge fear of spiders. A lot of things happen to us with spiders. And then so here we are in this closet tripping acid trying to go to sleep, and now we're stuck in this dream nightmare loop of where the spiders just kept growing more and more eyeballs, and the eyes would not stop forming and growing and bubbling, and we could not wake up or get out of it, and it was the worst thing ever. And then eventually we just woke up. Yeah. So that was the acid night. That was the journey of what that was like. Uh, and so life kind of goes right to bad after that. There was a bad night where our mother's having to defend herself against the bad man in our life again. Almost takes his life. Hell breaks loose. Cops come again. Now the helicopter is flashing a light on me, but it's not my crime. Stuff like that. And so things get real bad and terrible. And we confess to our guidance counselor. We go into school. We're late, stuff like this. We're gonna keep some things out, but we're going to school and we're walking. We're wearing these purple jeans because we couldn't find any other jeans because our mom was mad that we were late and missed the bus because we had a lot of absences too. Now, mind you, we didn't know that if you're absent a lot, they don't care as a student. You don't get in trouble. Your parent gets in trouble, and we had no idea our mom was getting in trouble for this stuff. Like we did not know the amount of pressure and stress we were adding to this woman's life. But maybe if we had gotten therapy in time, we would have been such a mess, you know. But we would just skip school. Like it was to the point where we would just not even. We would be up all night already, and we would watch we would watch it go from 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. knowing that the bus was about to be there and not even get dressed. We would just sit there and watch the clock go and know that it was 7 o'clock, the sun's fully up, and be like, we're not on the bus. We didn't get on the bus. School's starting. We're not going. And we just didn't go. And our mom had no idea for a little bit. Or we would just be like, nah, we can't go. And she was just like, okay. Um, So, we weren't really able to miss out any more school because we were getting to the bad numbers of like you will not graduate or you have to be kicked out. So our mom wouldn't let us get away with not going in just because things in our life had turned crazy, right? Um, so we're walking and we had to rush our outfit. So we put on these purple jeans and a black t-shirt. And the purple jeans were skinny and all that. And we're walking, and these kids on the bus going to the secondary school, and out of the window we hear them yell like, "Look at this F slur in those skinny jeans," and then they start roasting the purple jeans, and we're like, blah 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 blah. And instead of going to class where we're gonna go, we remember just crying, and I swung right, and I just went right to the guidance counselor. And it's like, I need to talk to you. I need to talk to you. Sat down, and I tried to talk. I could not talk. And so then I was like, okay, I need to write it down. And I wrote down. I just was like, I think I am schizophrenic. I hear voices. Blah 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 blah. Hurt myself because I had tried to take our lives before freshman year. I don't want to get too deep into that stuff that we'll talk about later. But yes, there had been a suicide attempt before this, so it got to the point where it was like, okay, things are getting too bad. I don't know. And then, so yeah, the guidance counselor pretty much had to call our mom, get everything figured out, of course, because it's a big deal to be admitting or confessing at such an age. Um, and so, yes, we finally go see psychiatrists and stuff like that. Let's see, did we talk about it in here? Yeah. So that's how the junior year ends, kind of, and this is how the senior year kind of begins. It's in between these two moments, right? So we get to our last year of high school. Now, actually, let's go back before. So we'll talk about the end of the third year of high school. So, um, sometime in between here, we didn't really have friends, right? So for a big moment of this year too, once the older friends stopped being around, again, not reliable fully because we can't remember exactly the perfect timing of everything. But what we can know and tell you this is that there was a time where for about 4 to 5 months we had no friends at all. No one. No one at all because one of our friends transferred and the other kids had graduated. So this might be the beginning of this year. Um, so, uh, I know it was in the winter time. So I want to say from our 17th birthday to our 18th birthday, we basically had become bad. And I don't mean bad as in doing bad, as in like hurting people or doing things like that. No. I mean, we locked ourselves in a room and we asked ourselves, why did Heath Ledger go crazy and take his own life? Why did he have his journal like the Joker? Why did he do all that for that role, right? And then we said, well, we're kind of already crazy. We like Batman and stuff. Let's see if we can do the Joker. Let's see if we can become Joker. And so I uh, just locked us in our room. All we did was play The Sims, and we only ever left our room when we went to school. Keep this in mind. So all this is happening too during the abuse going on and witnessing that, and drug use as well, and so on. So we stopped using substances because we didn't have friends to do it with anymore, and that is where we just locked ourselves in the room, and our new substance was consuming only Joker content or Batman content about the Joker or really anything like that and playing The Sims. And that's all we did for a very long time. And so when we confess to being or thinking that we are schizophrenic, uh, our guidance counselor makes us go see psychologists or whatever, like psychiatrists and all that stuff. And they make us do the questionnaires and all that. And it's a whole bunch. We don't know if we told the truth on everything or any stuff like that. It's been so long. Um, so that happens. That happens. We go through that life. And our psychiatrist does a lot of blood tests too, a lot of blood work, and makes us do those type of things as well. to see what's going on. Um, whew. So that happens, right? Uh, so the psychiatrist basically gives us our blood work back and lets us know from the blood work, our vitamin D levels are so low, it's concerning. They're basically zero. And it turns out, this happens to a lot of people too, I think, with borderline and other dissociative things. But if you find yourselves, isolated, you can do this. And it's real bad for you. Don't do it. But we have done so much of that Joker mental stuff of locking ourselves away and not being social and just having no outside time, right? Even when it was spring and summer, we didn't go outside. Like we covered up our windows too. Um, Now, mind you, saying all that, this is something that we did not know at all when we were going through it and doing it to ourselves. That this is the trauma that our father and his siblings were put through by his stepmother when they were kids. I did not know that until about 4 years ago now. So I had no idea he was traumatized like that. So it feels like almost a genetic thing of like this, like the trauma that was stored in my father actually came to us as a system later in life, and we had no idea. Like we boarded ourselves up so much so that we had no levels. The the psychiatrist said you only see cases like this in people who are in like legit um the whole like solitary conceal like confinement, like in prisons and stuff. Like you would have to never see the sun basically. And if you think about it, what were we only doing to go outside? To do catch the bus, to go to school, and then when we're in school, we stay inside. We didn't have any outdoor classes or anything like that. Like, it wasn't forced to go outside. So the only sunlight we're getting is through any windows or something like that if the sun shined on us. So, yes, we had literally kept ourselves so sun deprived that it looked like we had been in solitary confinement. And don't know how we're not taken away from our mother, maybe because we were 17 and it was too late. But yeah, basically, she was like, you can't be doing that. So we had to take supplements for that. And then she was like, I think you don't have multiple. You're not schizophrenic. Not multiple. Sorry, you're not schizophrenic. I think you're just bipolar or something like that. I think that might also show up in the blood work. Don't know. Don't know if that's what happens. But she's like, you're bipolar. Blah blah blah. And they put us on some medicine, and the medicine was Garbo. But the medicine then leads into our 4th year of high school. Um, it's over already. 4th year of high school. We're probably going to end the stream and recordings on this note after this slide, though, if we can get through. Um, let's see. So, we're on the medications. It's our last year of high school. Uh, Aries had come to the psychiatrist trip with us because we were like, it's so bad, please. We're scared. And so he came with us, right? And so he was there. Don't know how this was also allowed, but he was in the room. Like, this is why he's our witness. He was there when we got our blood work done. When they took the blood from us, Aries, this guy who was just our best friend for since the 7th grade, right? And the reason why we mentioned that we saw, oops, sorry, the mention, oh, sorry, mic is about to fall. Okay, so the reason I mentioned that we saw a glimpse of him in the 6th grade is because we had actually interacted with him in the 5th grade as well. We just didn't know it because he wore glasses, and we had met for a small moment of time at a play area at the gym that our parents had gone to, and we had actually played in that play area together that whole time, and we did not know. And we did not become best friends until 7th grade fully. And then it connected. Like, wait a minute, we've met before, we played before, right? But we didn't really get that yet. It took a couple of years for us to be like, wait a minute, that was you at the gym. We knew each other before we knew each other. Uh, so Aries, our best friend, is literally right there with us as they're taking our blood and trying to figure out what's wrong with us. That's how close we were. Like, we were like, no, we don't do it without him. He has to be there. So he hears our diagnosis of like you have not seen the sunlight in this amount of time, and you have no you like you got bipolar and all that stuff too. So he hears all this. He knows how serious it is. So they put us on the medicine. Blah blah blah. Aries is now trying to get us out more and trying to like help us more. And this is where he starts dating um, someone long term and invites us to their friend group. So now we're actually hanging out again with people and making friends and stuff like that. Uh, and whew, a lot more people now know about our system or know that the body they see isn't holding just one mind in it. By this, we started being more vocal on Facebook and social media. Hey, I'm Switch. Hey, Jake. You know, this is Jason, Katie, blah blah blah. Like this is who we are. We're not who you guys think we are. Like that's not us. So we started being more honest about it even back then because we just couldn't deal with the lies anymore. We tried to see a therapist for a little bit, and that was okay. But she didn't. She was not trained for uh, at dissociative identity disorder because not a lot of people are because a lot of doctors don't want to deal with this. Same with a lot of doctors still don't want to deal with borderline, right? So it just kind of swept on the rug. For us, however, our therapist was straight up was like, yeah, I'm not really trained enough for this. It might be best if you see someone else. And then just basically dumped us. And our mom never tried again. We never really tried again because we didn't really know what was going on. I mean, you get dumped by a therapist as a person with all the things we have, and not knowing that it was borderline, not knowing that we come with a sense of justice. When your therapist is like, "Yeah, you're too messed up even for me," we kind of just gave up on doctors and was like, "Okay, guess we'll just do what we do then." So that was it. So a lot of people at school loved us, and a lot of people hated us because a lot of people again thought we were just trying to get attention and be like, oh, blah blah blah, you're faking it, blah blah blah, and all stuff like that. But some people loved it. Some people saw and knew that it was real and got to know us for who we were as individuals, and that was so exciting. No real relationships really. Uh, this was a mistake on my end because yeah, like I said, it's a blur now between the years. So in the summer of junior year going into senior year, we did begin to talk to someone. um, this is the friend that was uh, this is a friend to the person that was dating Aries at the time. So we did start talking in that summer and things like that. So uh, a lot of the Joker arc happened. Like I said, that's why it's hard to remember exactly. A lot of that was again. So our birthday. I don't want to give out too much, but it's like in the middle of a school year, right? Like winter time ish. So our birthday is in the middle. So we turned 17 in the middle of school year. Like we age at the middle of school year. So that's why it's hard to know exactly. We can't say like what age we were exactly when certain things happened in a year because we changed an age. So uh, we yes from 17 to 18, we're not dating a lot. We're not doing a lot because of the Joker thing. But that summer is when we see the psychiatrist. Not okay. This is why it's a lot, guys, and the Benadryl's starting to come in. So that summer is when we're seeing the therapist. The psychiatrist comes right before the school year ends because that's when we went to the guidance counselor. So this is at the end of the school year when we the you know mom almost taking the life thing and all that. We witnessed that with our own eyes as well. We had to stop our mom from taking this dude's life. So that happens at the end of our junior year. The summer is when we start seeing mental health, and it's not really going too well. But then this is when we're introduced to somebody, and this person becomes our partner long term. And this goes into the beginning of senior year, the relationship. So yes, we weren't really dating, but now we are dating. Um, and Jake is the one dating her in the beginning. But we decide, well, Jake decides to keep the D.I.D a secret, right? And we decide not to tell her, blah, blah, blah. Don't know why. If I had been the one probably to date her first, I would have told her. And we probably would have gotten married. But that's what all crazy people think, right? So, um, the relationship is going pretty well for them and everything, and we're making friends too. So it's pretty nice. We're getting more experience in life. We're getting out of that dark, scary place of becoming an incel basement dweller, right? And we're beating the case. We're beating the odds. We're getting up. We're getting extrovert. We're making friends. We're dating somebody. We're in a serious relationship. We're taking medicine for a little bit because the medicine turns out to actually make us feel like zombies, and is not helping the D.I.D at all because those medications are to stop psychosis of voices and stuff, right? That we're not a psychosis of voices. We are people with psychosis. So we threw the meds out. I threw the meds out 2 weeks in because we were texting our partner one time, and I kept falling asleep and missing text messages to respond. And I was like, this ain't worth it. So I threw the meds out for all of us. Fast forward, those medicines did get recalled because they started making cis men lactate and form breasts and other things like that. It was real bad. So thank goodness we skipped out on that. uh, we keep the secret, the idea secret from the current partner. There was a day where Switch and Jake get into a fight. They swap places without knowing. I switched, yes. Do remember this. We were fighting seriously hard, like fighting hard to the death. Just me and him in the inner world. And Jake pulled a move that I used to pull, which is swap places with a person. And so uh, the weapon came that he tried to kill me with, and he tried to swap places, but he did it incorrectly and ended up taking his own life. And then I started hosting, but I didn't know that because when you're an author trying to kill your subalter, what that really means in the healing sense is I'm taking in a part of me, right? But when I took in a part of me, when that part of me was Jake, it felt more like I was Jake instead of Switch, if that makes sense. If someone's able to follow along with that logic, thanks. But basically, what I'm trying to say is, um, we're all the same soul, just broken into pieces, right? So you had two pieces of the soul finding each other over this relationship, and instead of one winning over the other, it was more so like they just became one part, but not fully, right? So I was really making decisions for the relationship, but I was making decisions as myself, but that were more in the mannerisms and the belief system of Jake, if that makes sense. Okay, so it's like if you were a shapeshifter and you took the identity of the person you uh, were shapeshifting as, right? But you got hit in the head and you forgot all your memories and you forgot that you were a shapeshifter, and B, you forgot that you are currently shapeshifting as someone else. That's what happened. Um, so I'm dating the partner, the relationship, because I'm a deviant though, got a little too intense. You had Aries, who was already more advanced with girls and things like that. He could pretty much do and get whatever he wanted from any girl he wanted to. He was beautiful. He had pretty boy privilege. Let's be real. I mean, I was in love with him. I knew from a long time that I had feelings for him that were not platonic, but he was also like a brother to me. So I couldn't say that, you know. Uh, Dash Switch said that. So yes, uh, again, remember that moment where he poked me on the shoulder when he was making out with his girlfriend? So like, this is what you need to do, bud. Um, that mentality never, I guess, left. You know. So seeing him talk about all the things he's being intimate doing and all of that stuff, and to finally have a relationship and be older and stuff, it was kind of like, shouldn't I be doing that? You know. And so I will admit, probably advanced that relationship way too fast out of the pressure of just everything that is going on in public schooling, uh, and when you don't really have a good head on your shoulders. So the relationship started getting too intense too fast. There wasn't really any use of Mary Jane because the older friends were all gone now, graduated, and moved on, and we were more. So when we're dating now, we're in a youth group, right? We're in a youth group. We joined a youth group because Aries was in a youth group. Now this youth group turns out to be a cult, and this cult did get busted later on by us. We will talk about this in the future, but to keep you on your toes and keep you interested in the story, can't talk about it now. But yes, we were in a cult without knowing we were in a cult. So we weren't really focused on Mary Jane. We were getting that Bible work done. We were doing youth groups and stuff like that. So this is like the first time in our lives or our high school career that we are sober and not dependent on Mary Jane at all. We didn't eat, drink or anything like that. We were a clean, good, squeaky little uh, cryptid. Um, and then there was a night where Switch and partner are caught being intimate and the relationship ends after parental pressure. So yes, again, like I said, the relationship was too fast, too much going on for especially for the there was an age difference, stuff like that. Nothing again, still not illegal. Still ruins a minor. Don't freak out. Don't freak out. But yes, there was just a lot of that going on. And again, we're a person of color, and we dated. We okay. We have not dated another person of color since the fourth grade when we moved here. That is the last time we have ever dated someone that was not white. So we didn't understand. But here's the thing: being a D.I.D. system, we're focused on our mental and our soul, and we think that all humans are doing that, right? We thought all humans saw the world with their mind and their soul and like feelings, right? No, it turns out there are political pressures in the background of interracial dating, and did not know that the person we were dating is actually from a town that used to actually make it illegal to live there if you were a person of color. So didn't know these things, right? We didn't know we weren't thinking Republican Democrats yet, okay, as a DID system in high school. We didn't even care about grades. There was a moment in our final math exam where we just put our name on it as soon as he handed it out, put our name on it, look at the question said, I don't even remember showing up to even get close to learning about this and just turned in the paper while everyone is still getting there. It's like the moment he sat down at the desk and he was done, we stood up and handed in our exam. And literally, one of our friends in there, like, knew how bad it was in our mind and stuff, and just shook his head. And it was like, he was sad because he had been trying to, like, teach us and, like, help us learn and stuff, but it just was not clicking. But he was just kind of like, oh man, like, dang, dude. But yeah, that's how much we didn't care about that. So we didn't know that there were pressures to seeing me, a person of color, dating a younger white girl. We didn't know that. We didn't care about that because in our system, in our DID mind, all of this high school wise, Switch, Jason, Katie, Alaska, uh, Sin, the man in the suit, anyone that we pretty much have been naming, in the high school arc, everyone besides Pedro right now was white, not a person of color. We saw ourselves, the alters that we are, we saw ourselves as white people because we got colonized in the fifth grade. As to, we cannot be a ghetto black kid, right? That won't get you far. You won't make any friends with that. So yes, eventually when the DID came into full freaking force, right? And you get alters forming. Us alters, we all formed as white people. So we did not have a single idea or belief that people viewed us as black people. We did not think the outside world saw us as a black kid. We didn't have that going on in our mind. And that's how it should be in the world. People should live in the world as us, where it does not matter what race you are or how you perceive it. It matters if you're good or bad, right? Do you do morally correct things to help people in the world? That's what we thought, but turns out no. So it got to a point where the parents in this relationship wanted us to sign a contract. Our mom wanted that too. Our mom was pushing for us to sign a contract, everybody, all the family together, to talk about what would and would not be done. And it was weird. I mean, this was a weird relationship. I had things going on the back of my mind that I couldn't say yet to my mom or things like because I guess our trauma was to just be silent. And like there was a moment like we're sending very intimate messages between our partner and stuff, right? Because that's what you do when you're at that level. And we did had no idea for like 2 months of this that my ex, or the partner at the time, uh, her mother had been reading every single one of our the sexting pretty much, right? I had been reading all of it, and there was a time she responded. She responded to one of my freaking texts, dude. And I had no idea. But then I thought it was weird the way that it was parent coded, right? It was only parents can text like that. And so I kind of stopped, and then that's when I texted my partner on a different app. I was like, "Hey, something's off," and she actually found out that, yeah, her mom, because she confronted her mom about it, and found out that her mom had been going through the iPod, uh, and that's where the iMessages were, and that's how she had been reading, and yeah, so that was weird. So I had all that on my mind, right? And I have a D.I.D. and I'm trying to figure things out, and I'm not on my meds anymore, and I'm like, do I really need to sign a contract to be with somebody? Fuck that. So didn't sign it. Now, in our high school year, our grandfather, God rest his soul, beautiful man, our grandfather had lived with us for our entire senior year of high school. And he knew we were getting down and dirty, right? He knew we were doing these things. But the one time that he was our watchdog and trying to keep out an eye, because he would try to warn us, or try to stop, because, grandfather, the man knew what was going down. Uh, he tried to like be a heads up, but the one time that he failed to do it and he couldn't do it in time, we got caught. And the funny thing is, well, I probably wouldn't have never have gotten caught if I had just stayed still in the moment where I was like, "Is my mom home?" And yeah, so that happened, and our grandfather made some jokes to try to make me feel better. And honestly, if he was not there, probably would have not been the greatest to recover with. But he helped us a lot. Um, so the relationship ends, sadly, because I ain't doing no contract for love. That sounds not for me. So I ended the relationship, and then things were tough because it was our longest relationship and our most real relationship, right? It was something that was physical, emotional, and just overall taxing and evolving. Um, so that was a lot to end that relationship. Uh, and then we just start flunking school like you couldn't believe it. This is when it's like, okay, relationship ended. Uh, God is being pushed down my throat. I feel like I'm the devil. I had kids calling me the devil at high school because there was a moment where I was at the park with my dog, just chilling, and another kid came up, threatened to hit my dog with a stick. He kept swinging the stick near my dog. My dog was a little chihuahua at the time, and he keeps threatening that he's gonna hit my dog with this big stick and everything like that. And I straight up say, "Hey," and by I mean Switch. Just remember, only two people are gonna tell this story to you guys: me, Switch, and Abby. So I Switch. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna tell you this one time. If you hit my dog with that stick, I am going to stand up and then stab you. And then he was like, "Whoa, what? What? You just threatened me? You just threatened me?" And I was like, "Yeah. I said if you hit my dog with that stick, I'm going to stab you, because you hit my dog." And he kind of was like, "Oh, my mom's a cop. I'm gonna tell, blah blah blah." And I was like, "I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna tell him you hit my dog, and that's why I stabbed you." And so the altercation didn't go on from that. He left me alone. But I did not know that he had told everyone, basically on our bus in a neighborhood and everything like that, that I was gonna stab him. He of course kept out the part of hitting my dog with the stick. That's what he was going to do to get stabbed. No, he just told everyone that I said I was gonna stab him. And so again, gotta be careful with your words and what you say, guys. So yes, he just told everyone, all of our friends, that I was gonna stab him. And then we'll remember getting on the bus one day, and a girl just straight up was like, blah blah blah, you're the devil, and started calling us literally the devil, and was like, you said you're gonna stab so and so, and you're just evil, and you're gonna kill someone, blah blah blah, and like people were just looking at us, and just I remember being in the inner world like, oh wow, okay, I guess we're the devil now, and that's what kicked me into becoming the devil. So grades were falling, the relationship had ended. I'm the devil. God ain't working. Nothing's working. I can't even smoke uh, anymore. I got nothing, and so I gave up on school. Uh, However, the school did not give up on us. Our guidance counselor fought and fought and fought. Teachers fought and fought and fought. A lot of people were fighting for us to not give up. Um, and some way, we were able to bring all of our Fs. Okay, it'll be easier to say this. Every we only had two grades that were not Fs and that were A's, and that was only because of the fact one of them was video creating and one of them was creative writing. Those were the only two classes in our senior year that we gave an F about. That was all we cared about, right? Every other grade is an F for all of high school, all of the last year. Also told you that we have too many absences, right? We had missed too many school days. We were falling behind on that too. We cannot afford to miss any more school days in the year. If we had missed a single, this is what they told us. If you miss one more day of school, even a half day, and it is not excused by a doctor, you are not graduating. Like you're done, because it was like 100 or something days, right? That we had to skip total in the last 2 years, I think. It was bad, guys. We weren't kidding when we said we should stop going. So they were like, you have to go to school. You cannot miss out, and you need to start putting in effort. We'll start. They kind of started cheating the system. They're like, we'll round you up on things if you at least just attempt, at least try. Because everyone knew we were smart. They knew we were smart from our test scores. We had test scores like that were super high. We would pass tests on purpose, but just not do anything else, right? We wouldn't do homework. We wouldn't do the quizzes or anything like that. But when it came to the test and certain exams like that, we would just ace it. And they were like, "You're smart. You know what you're doing. You're just purposely failing." We were one of those people. We were like, "Yeah, we don't give a fuck." But they really fought for us, and our mom was like real sad about it. And we thought about it, like, dang, for mom, we should probably graduate. We gotta graduate for at least her mom. Everyone's riding on us to graduate because generation curses, and it's not something as a person of color. It is very important to graduate high school. It is a big monumental moment. Okay, we didn't know that because we didn't care about what being a person of color was. Okay, we were colonized. So seeing how much it affected our mom finally, and seeing how much change she wanted to do and help she was trying to do, we did it. We tried in our last 3 months. We grinded like you would never see anyone grind ever. We just started acing things, started doing the quizzes correctly, doing the homework. But when it came to math, math was so bad that they could not do it at school anymore. They were like, "You're so behind on math, you're not going to catch up. The only way to catch up in math, you have to do this booklet. We have to order this booklet in, hope that it comes in time. Then when the booklet does come, you have to do all of the math sections in that booklet. And you cannot cheat or all that. Like, you have to do it here in school and everything, and we're going to be watching you when you do it. And then you have to turn that in, and they have to grade it, and then if they grade it and you pass it, then you graduate. That's how we had to do math. Because we had ruined math so bad that even, I think our teacher didn't want to teach us anymore. He wouldn't let us come back. This is the teacher where we just turned in the exam with nothing but our name on it. I think he was done with us. We weren't able to go back to his classroom. And so the book was the only way to get a math grade brought up, because we were in a math that you were supposed to be taking only as a sophomore. Like, we were so math illiterate, and we still are, that we just can't do it, right? Mumbo jumbo, dyslexia, whoa. Um, and so we had that going for us. Uh, and so we do the math booklet. It gets here, we do it, we're studying, we're doing it, we're doing it, we're getting help from people, a little bit here and there, and we get the math booklet done. Bum, 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 bum. The problem is there's 1 month of school left. 1 month. So we ship the booklet as fast as we can, and now we have to wait, and we're waiting. And everything else is going. We're gonna graduate. Is there a point of getting a cap and gown? Like, it was getting intense. and we had no idea if I was gonna graduate because the school that you have to send the booklet to never said anything. They never said if I passed or not. They never, I guess, graded it or anything because it was just stuck in mail. So uh, our guidance counselor did the most real thing a white person has ever done for us. Not gonna lie, this is probably the biggest reparation we've ever got in life. Is he said you did the booklet, you did the work, you showed the effort. It's not your fault, if you didn't get there in time or not. Uh, you're just gonna walk, and they let us graduate. So that's how we graduated high school. Basically cheated the entire system, and uh, made it in the end. And yeah, so we got our high school degree like that. Uh, there's not really much else to say. But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up here because that was a lot more to get done in the first. That was only high school arc. So yeah, we'll do the rest later when we get there, and that's that.